A story a week, the mind's masterpiece, a work of art from heart to heart. Tales of wonder, wonder she inspires. Upon her canvas, worlds are built, hearts are healed, hopes restored, dreams revealed, puzzles solved, faiths take flight, good works are born. A story a week. Sit back and relish this week's story.
Conili and Ilarin were at a coffee bar on a quiet Saturday morning, enjoying breakfast and easy conversation, the kind that was casual but layered, light yet deep. Ilarin started by mentioning how uncomfortable she felt with the way people looked at them the previous day when they wore matching neon outfits to church. For a moment, I thought we were inappropriately dressed. I had to look to see if there were some invisible holes that exposed our bodies, Ilarin remarked. Conili laughed. If that makes you uncomfortable, then you will not survive a day in China, especially in the suburbs. What do you mean? Ilarin asked. Conili smiled. Okay, story time. Have you ever been stared at so much you started wondering if you were growing a second head? She laughed and sipped her tea. The cafe buzzed softly in the background. Ilarin raised an eyebrow. You mean the kind of look that burns into your back, like during job interviews or at airport security? Conili nodded slowly, setting her cup down. More than that, I mean, not just watching, studying you like you're some kind of exhibit. My. I'm all ears. Ilarin rested her chin on her palm, listening intently. Conili recollected the details, plunging into full narration mode. My first year in China, I'd barely settled in when the stares began. Everywhere I went, the market, the bus, just walking around, long, curious, unblinking eyes followed me. I'd walk into a supermarket and heads would turn like I was Beyonce. Shopkeepers would call others to come look. Some asked to touch my hair or take photos. And then there were questions I'd never thought I'd hear in real life, like whether my blood was red too. No way, Ilarin whispered, lightly hitting the table, half laughing and half shocked. I kid you not. Conili smiled. At first, it was almost amusing until it wasn't. There were days I wanted to stay indoors just to escape the stares. I remember thinking if looks could kill, I wouldn't have survived my first week in China. I would have dropped dead already. I can imagine. Do they have open markets like we do in Africa? Ilarin asked. Yes, they do. I always preferred to get my fresh produce from the market, and the market was where the stares were the loudest. Conili continued, adjusting the mug in her hands. It wasn't your average corner shop. We're talking open-air stalls, tight lanes, vendors calling out like auctioneers, the kind of place where spices and fresh produce and the smell of fresh meat all crashing into your nostrils at once. Ilarin leaned in, caught between fascination and empathy. The first time I went there alone, one woman, a vegetable seller, gasped out loud and grabbed her husband's arm, who was busy with an advertisement chant of their vegetables. He literally stopped mid-chant and looked my way with fascination. I could hear whispers ripple through the stalls. Some said, "Heeren, heeren," meaning black person, like I couldn't hear or understand. That's wild, Ilarin whispered. It didn't stop there, Conili said, a faint laugh escaping her lips. Someone pulled out a phone and started taking pictures, not sneakily either. I became this object of wonder. People touched my arm to feel my skin. One woman, I kid you not, asked me if my hair was real. And when I said yes, she touched it and just said, "Wow," like I was some rare species, What did you do? Conili shrugged. I smiled at first, tried to be polite, even laughed a little bit. I got it. Many of them had never seen a black person in real life. But the novelty didn't feel harmless after a while. It became exhausting, like I was carrying the entire weight of being a representative of my race and culture 24/7. Oh, that's a heavy crown, Ilarin murmured. Conili nodded. And the worst part is, I didn't want to judge them. I knew it was curiosity, not hatred. But curiosity, when it lacks empathy, can feel like a blade. Wow, Ilarin whispered. This is a lot. What else happened? There's plenty. So one time I was on a bus heading north to Jinan. I was with a friend, another foreigner. We sat near the back, just two more passengers among many, or so we thought. Two Chinese men sat in front of us, chatting freely. They had no idea we understood Mandarin. They guessed my friend was African because of his darker skin, but me, they were sure I was American. Too light to be African, one of them said. Ilarin's eyes widened. That's bold. Conili chuckled. I was just sitting there, half amused. But then my friend burst out in perfect Mandarin to them. You're both wrong, just like that. Ilarin gasped. No way. Oh, the look on their faces. Conili laughed. Pure shock. But what surprised me wasn't their shock. It was their joy. They didn't recoil or act ashamed as you would expect. They lit up instead. You can speak Chinese? They asked over and over, smiling wide. It was like we had suddenly been upgraded from curious specimens to honored guests. Then Conili grew thoughtful. That moment taught me something I didn't expect. Their curiosity wasn't rooted in hostility or malice. Yes, it was laced with ignorance, the kind that stings when people think they can categorize you by skin tone. But underneath it was wonder, a desire to understand. And so a new perspective clicked in me, which was that what they needed wasn't silence or suspicion, not even correction, but conversation. So I realized that we don't bridge divides by building more walls of suspicion. We bridge them through conversation. Conversation carries light that breaks stereotypes and it plants seeds of truth. And in the process, we all grow. So a simple human conversation can carry more truth than 1,000 silent stares ever will. Ilarin nodded slowly with a listening as if she was in some amphitheater following a talk. Like once, Conili continued, someone genuinely asked me if the blood in my veins was red like theirs. Imagine that. It sounds wild, but I didn't laugh or get angry. I just told them plainly, yes, my blood is red. Just like yours, not green, not blue. And from time to time, I began to notice that their questions, as strange as they sounded, were shaped by what they had seen on TV or heard from others. Stereotypes, myths, half stories. That was their reference point for who I might be. But when I chose to engage, to answer, to ask them questions back, enlightenment happened. They weren't just learning about me. I was learning too, about perception, about culture, about how much of our world is built on half stories. I was learning about how deeply flawed a one-sided story can be, as author Chimamanda says. Ah, yes, quite true. That's beautiful. Ilarin exhaled, deeply moved. It's real, Conili said. If looks really could kill, I might not have made it through my first month in China, she added with a playful grin. But thankfully, curiosity isn't a weapon. It is an invitation. Ilarin laughed, shaking her head slowly. You know, Conili, we started this chat talking about our outfits. Now I feel like I just sat through a master class in humanity. Conili laughed too. It wasn't planned, right? No, Ilarin said, smiling. But I think that's the beauty of conversations like this. You go in thinking you're just catching up with a friend and then boom, perspective. I never thought about curiosity that way, you know. I'd probably have been offended, honestly. But you turned it into a bridge. Conili tilted her head. It takes practice and patience and sometimes a little humor. Ilarin raised her teacup like a toast to curious stares, real talk, and red blood. Conili lifted hers to conversation, the quiet revolution. They clinked gently, laughter spilling between them, cloth in peace and a willingness to see beyond the surface. If Looks Could Kill is a story that teaches that in a world where assumptions travel faster than understanding, may we slow down and dare to talk, to listen, because sometimes all it takes is a conversation, a question asked, a truth shared, a story told. And may we learn and remember that beneath the skin and beyond the accents, we are all humans. Thank you for following me on this episode of A Story a Week. And if the story moved you or spoke to you in any way, subscribe for more stories that will lift up your spirit and inspire your soul every week. Until next time, keep living, keep learning, and never forget to listen.
Every glance a spark in the air, every stare a story to share. Eyes longing to know, hearts longing to hear, telling the truth that's been left out. If looks could kill, if looks could